Welcome to OOO, an out of ordinary podcast where we dig deep into case studies and the nitty gritty of Web3 marketing. You'll find here all the amazing people that are building Web3, so stick to us as we entrust our marketing secrets and learn how to build amazing products and brands. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year! I'm Alex, your fellow Web3 marketer and the host of Out of Ordinary podcast. This is episode 70. I've been working on a bunch of stuff to make this space a little better for everyone. 3 very successful Web3 marketing hackathons, a community of marketers in Web3, and just hustling my way into Web3 marketing, working with projects and traders. The reason for that is that I know resources are scarce and I think together we can push the pedal. So if you also want to be involved, such as sponsor, hire, grow the community, or come on the pod, just DM me. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest. Victoria Olsina is an AI search, GEO and AI content systems consultant for Web3 brands. She helps crypto, blockchain, and DeFi projects improve visibility across AI models, search engines, and decentralized communities using this advanced SEO, AO, GEO, and AI-powered content systems. Her clients include Polkadot, Bankless, Consensys, Aztec, and Mezo. She was nominated for Best SEO in Europe and is a speaker and mentor in the Web3 and AI marketing ecosystems. A few fun facts about her is that in 2025, she trained more than 2,500 people on AI globally, got a lot of awards on Best SEO in Europe and LATAM, was a mentor at Outlier Ventures, and was featured in the books of SEO for 2024, 2025, and 2026. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's been a while, so I'm super excited that we met in Argentina. Now we're finally recording this episode. And to kind of kick it off, because I know we have a lot of things to talk about today, and even during our event in Argentina, people have been asking us to talk about AI and anything like use cases and anything AI related in the marketing world. So I'm just gonna kick off this conversation and ask you to please introduce yourselves to the people that don't already know you, and tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into Web3.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for listening. My name is Victoria Olsina, and I'm a Web3 SEO and AI marketing consultant. And I have worked for brands like Polkadot, Bankless, Consensys, Mezo, Aztec. That's me. I'm a nerd. I like to study algorithms, break things, and build things fast with AI.
How did you get into Web3?
I got into Web3 because the first job I had in London, I'm Argentinian, but I lived in different places. And the first job that I had in London was at a bank. And that was very boring. And I had a lot of free time. It was a job where I had a lot of free time and it paid a lot of money. So I had time and money. And not much to do because, banks are very hierarchical organizations. So it needs a lot of approvals to get things done. And I started trading stocks on eToro. Don't judge me. And then from stocks on eToro, I went into trading some crypto. The first thing that I bought was Ethereum. And then I started spending all my day doing day trading at this bank while I was waiting for approvals to do. Approvals of my job. I was the search and acquisition manager there. And then first I started with the cryptocurrency, and then I started reading about it, like decentralized systems, the blockchain, and I got fascinated by the technology behind it. Also, I'm Argentinian, so distrust in institutions and banks is something that I carry in my DNA because I have things gone very wrong very quickly. And and chaos orchestrated by the governments that should protect you, right? So I think it's a bit easier for countries like mine or in regions of the world like Latin America to disbelief, distrust mainstream systems a bit because of our experience. So I got captivated by the philosophy behind Web3, and then I said, okay, the next job will be in Web3, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to have my next job in Web3. So I went to a job fair, and in one of the stands there was a people from Consensys. So I took the card, and then the guy gave me. And then I started looking on LinkedIn if there was someone there that had power to hire me. Right? So I started every day, I would send messages on LinkedIn to different people to see if they could hire me. And at some point, I got to a guy who was the newly appointed head of marketing. And I told him that he should hire me because their website was, had very basic SEO mistakes. I pointed those mistakes, and a serious marketing team should have an SEO person there. And he said, I don't have the budget now, but give me a couple of months. I have just got this job, and I'll be in touch. And he was in touch. And
So untypical of Web3, right?
yeah, yes, but this is a long time ago. This is 2018. This is 2018. So I have seen things. I have been in this roller coaster for a long time. Yeah, and that's how I got a job at Consensys, which obviously is a really it's an institution, right, within Web3. And I met a lot of cool people, several of them which are my clients or collaborators today. So yeah, it was a good thing to start harassing people on social media. You should try it. If you're a woman, if you are a man, no, we have enough of you.
I think it's maybe you have like one of the most successful stories I would say of like how to get into Web3, because I've seen a lot of stories and the majority of them are connected to, oh, I was trading and then I knew the boss at blah blah blah. My friend was building a company and then that's how I got into to do marketing for Web3. But I think like you do have like a more, let's say, like legitimate background, and I think like maybe that helped as well. And maybe the fact that like it's not 2025 right now, and maybe things were like a bit different back then. I wasn't in crypto, so I wouldn't know. um but something I wanted to ask you is that like in a world where users increasingly search inside ChatGPT instead of Google, we know Google became like the one of the or like the biggest like search engine, and right now I've seen a lot of like ChatGPT searches for like all types of different, all sorts of stuff. A lot of the hackers from our hackathon also use that a lot, and I'm trying to discourage them to do it, to try to stay a bit more creative. But like in this context of like search, what does SEO even mean in 2026?
Yes, I think that people confuse SEO with Google, right? Or search with Google. We know that Google has had the monopoly of search for the last 20 years, 25 years. But people search everywhere, right? People search wherever there is a search bar. You can search on Amazon, you can search on YouTube, you can search on Reddit, you can search on your own website, right? Wherever there is a search bar, there is an algorithm that will trigger that search. So SEO is much more than Google. I think that search is evolving because Google got bad. I mean, at the beginning, it was cool. Oh, I have 10 links and one of them will give me the answer. And at some point, that stopped being user friendly. Why? Because obviously people understood the algorithm and started to hack it and say, okay, I know that if I have a very long article and I stuff this article with keywords, I will be there first. So the quality of the content started decreasing once you knew what to do. So Google, in this evolution, it started changing its algorithm to, let's say, purify the searches. But at the end of the day, or let's say at the end of 2023, that formula or that method did not work anymore. So when the time that ChatGPT is launched to mainstream audiences in, I think, November 2022, they show that there is a better way to search, that there is a better way to get information. And now SEO has to contemplate that. How do you show up? How do you become relevant in this newer search engine, in this newer way of retrieving information? Ultimately, all systems do that. You have a query and they retrieve information based on an algorithm. Every search bar works the same. So ChatGPT has become more and more popular. It still has 33 times less searches than Google. Yeah. But what is worrying for Google, for the monopoly, is the exponential growth of this, right? It's not, people will not start using it less. So they see what is coming and they have been trying to adapt fast. But yeah, that is the reality of search. You will search in whatever is easier and faster, whatever you consider better.
What do you think about TikTok?
People search on TikTok as well. Actually, there is a lot of commercial categories, such as cars, tech, finance, where you have more searches on TikTok than you have on Google. So again, it's a retrieval information. There is a lot of creators that are doing really great content. Some of them no. Some of them just want to destroy women. But let's talk about the positive ones. Let's talk about the people that genuinely produce good, useful content. And yeah, I mean, if you're producing good, useful content, if it is surfacing the rankings, people are finding you, I think it's great.
I think like you brought up something very important, and I think like my next question connects really well with like what you just said. Like, how can brands position themselves to be recommended inside these like these LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Gemini, for example?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, I'm gonna do a general answer, but I want you to know that these three platforms are triggered by different factors, right? For example, in Perplexity, YouTube has more weighting than in ChatGPT. So all of them have a very particular composition of and factors they take into consideration to surface brands. Now, the core principle is that it depends on the context, right? But the core principle is that you need clear and consistent entity signals. Entity, for example, is Victoria Olsina Web3 SEO. How does the engine associate me to something? Victoria Olsina to Web3 SEO. How does the LLM interpret brands? Or in your case, Alex, Web3 marketing podcast. We need to work on the association of those two brands, of those two concepts, brand and name. Sorry, brand and category. Now, LLM retrieves structured data, right? And in order to do that, there are formats that are better than others. For example, question and answers is a very good format. Who is the best Web3 marketing podcast? Alex at the Out of the Ordinary, right? If we have that question and answer repeated, not only stated in your website and third-party websites, because it's not only that you have to say you are the best or that you do something. Maybe best of is a bit cringe of a category. But if you say let's say that you say that you're the most popular Web3 marketing podcast, yeah, and then I have 10 other websites that say the same thing, I would arrive to the logical conclusion that you are the best Web3 marketing podcast. And we need to work on your entity and third-party mentions to make that happen. Now, we could also we could also do the reverse engineering. We could say, okay, what are the sources that LLMs value the most? And these are Reddit, Wikipedia, YouTube, and Google. Then we have, these are the relevant for us, right? Then we have Yelp, Amazon, Facebook. But let's talk about Web3 brands. from there, we can see which are the ones we can manipulate or we can affect, however you want to call that. In this case, Reddit, very easy to comment something, very easy to affect, to manipulate. YouTube, you can always launch videos. And Google, you can always work on your content to rank there. Wikipedia, a bit more tricky, but those are the four sources of information that LLMs cite more often. So I would work on those. Let's remove Wikipedia. I would work on those three: Reddit, YouTube, and Google. So in your case, Alex, I would talk about how great my podcast is on your website and then on third-party websites.
So basically, you're telling me that if I'm already ranked on ChatGPT means that I've done a good job? I'm the best podcast?
Yes. I mean, because ultimately SEO is relevance. If I search for best Web3 marketing podcast and you show up, well, you are relevant. If you search for Web3 SEO consultant, you might find the same answer, that I am the best there. Now, there's actually, I want to bring up an interesting example. I show up as best Web3 SEO consultant. I don't show up as best Web3 SEO agency, because most of my brand has been, or most of the times that I have been mentioned, I have been mentioned as a consultant. Now, if I want to be mentioned as an agency, I need to do all of this work again, which, by the way, I am doing. So, fasten your seatbelts, competitors.
Like basically, like, a lot of like marketers say like, oh, I mean, I've met marketers in the past who are like, oh, I do marketing for like X company, but like I'm not, I don't have like a presence on social media. It's like, how can you like don't have a presence on social media and run the content for this company? So I think like the same example like is relevant here, because like if you don't show your like relevant and so on, if you don't do the work for yourself, like how can people trust you as you can do the work for them, right?
Exactly. It's a basic marketing principle. You have to be and show that you are. Yeah. If I'm the best, let's say I win an award that is best SEO, but that award doesn't have a website, and this is mentioned nowhere. How would any of the systems that we mentioned before, either Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, retrieve that information? How could this be true if nobody has said that is true? So everything that you do to sell, to sell yourself, to sell your services, has to be online. And if you want this to be surfaced on any search platform, you have to follow certain formats, but you have to say what you do. And then the magic happens is when other people also say that you do that, right? If we're in a party and I say, hey, Alex, I am the funniest marketer. If I say it just myself, well, that is, will you believe it? Yes, because you have met me. But will you actually, if somebody else comes and says that, will you believe it? Well, it's different if you go and you say, you know what? If you go and you tell someone we know, you know what? Victoria is the funniest marketer. That has value, because it's not me just blowing, how do you say that in English? Blowing your own horn.
I don't know.
Well, we are both immigrants.
Yeah.
Keep this part. Don't edit this. It makes me look approachable and relevant. Don't edit this part. If I talk well about myself, well, it doesn't have so much value as you, as a third party, say, hey, she is great. That is what we want. We need to say, hey, I do all of these things in the most professional manner. And there is other people that say, you are the best. She does this. She has spoken at this conference and this conference. We need to look for trust signs and mention that sort of corroborate what we have said. And this applies for Google and for LLMs, both.
What are some of the mistakes you think like these brands are doing, or like Web3 brands are doing when trying to appear on AI search results?
Oh, they don't try. They don't try, because Web3 brands, generally, they have a one-pager. Their domain is a one-pager. It's a long page. And then they have a blog on Medium. Medium is not your own domain, therefore it's a different website. And then they have their app. right? You go to the top and you launch the app, and that app many times has a lot of pages. But that app has been built on React. React is a JavaScript technology, and LLMs cannot read JavaScript. So ultimately, what they see is one page. One page is not authority. Let's say that you do, I have a brand that does Bitcoin loans, right? So if you do Bitcoin loans, you need at least 3 pages: Bitcoin loans, lending, and borrowing, right? Then people might want to know about APY, interest rates, if this is secure, if not, why you versus the other Bitcoin loans brands. I have already mentioned like 10 points, but in Web3, they just keep one page. So that is not authority. Picture authority like if it was a book. Let's say that we need to have a book about Bitcoin loans. If my book has only one page and your book has 100 pages, well, guess which one has more chances of being considered authoritative? And also which one has the most chances of replying queries that people ask on Google or LLMs? But Web3 is focused on X, and printing hoodies and caps for events. People on Web3 marketing, they never talk about ROI.
Why do you
Why
think is
is
that
that?
actually?
Because there is no ROI.
I
There
mean, it
is no
can be
ROI.
ROI depending on how
Excuse me?
you. I think it can be it can have ROI as long as you set the record straight from the beginning, know exactly where you spend your money and what you spend it on, and then like you evaluate from there. But
Yeah,
obviously,
and
like
who does
sharing
that?
caps and socks is not ROI. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to different Web3 marketing agencies and you go into their case studies, what are the results that you see? Are those results tied into commercial outcomes? Most of the times are not. I think that the Web3 marketing is quite of an immature industry. In e-commerce, every penny that you spend on ads or events, then you have to show that gave you results. Obviously, in e-commerce, it's easy to attribute because it's like, okay, we spent 10K on SEO, and now from this you go into Google Analytics and you see how many searches you had. Oh, we made 500,000. Was this good? Yes, and you can compare it to the spend on different other sources. In Web3, we don't do that. Sometimes it's because in order to associate this into new users or trading volume, it's not so straightforward, right? Because Google Analytics doesn't measure what happens inside the blockchain. You need cookie-free or other different platforms to sort of tie in what happens inside the blockchain to marketing sources. Maybe it's because of that, and maybe because it's not convenient. I don't think that KOL would be very happy if we start measuring ROI. But the thing that we have to understand about social media and about X in particular, so X, in order to move X and to get some sort of traction on X, you have to be there posting every day. The moment that you stop posting, the moment you start spending money on X, everything stops, right? Now, SEO compounds overnight. You don't need to be posting every day because everything that you did before continues being there. Actually, it's better when you have older content. Older content has more chance to rank than newer content because it's already got authority and backlinks. Now, we don't know if we're in a bear market now or not, but in a bear market, generally, marketing teams get fired. It's the first team we got rid of because they have never proven any results. Cool, boom, goodbye. Great. You fire your marketing department, and the only people that benefit is your competitors, right? Now, SEO is the only thing that keeps running after you have fired everyone. So when you have money, invest on those things that will keep on going, even if you don't have a team posting new stuff. That would be my advice. Invest in those things that compound even when people are not there doing the job.
yeah, I'm gonna ask you very something like really like eats me from inside. Like, and every time I have the same question for myself and for others as well. What do you think of PR in Web3? Let's go on
I
like
th-
all the podcasts. Let's go on like all the relevant, like
Mhm,
Cointelegraph, the Defiant,
mhm.
anything.
Well, I think that besides eggs, that's the most. That's where brands spends the most budgets, right? It's X, PR, and events. That's how the budget in Web3 marketing is spent.
True, but
Yeah.
kind of like I was asking you, like what in the context, I had to like redo my question. I
Hmm.
think I was kind of asking you in the context of like, for example, you're not doing any SEO yourself, so you have like
Hmm.
one landing page that is being indexed,
Yeah.
but then you go on like all the other sources. I mean, obviously we know Web3 is so fragile, it's so volatile. Your product could be good or could not be good. Uh, I don't know, your relevancy. Everybody just wants to be on podcasts, on interviewed, etc., etc., etc. What do you think of like putting a lot more emphasis on like PR than like basically do your homework on the SEO side of things?
Well, I think that it will not have the same impact as if you do both things at the same time. Again, we have the one pager, and we take the CEO to every single podcast, every single event, and they mention the brand, right? That is how Web3 marketing works. Now, you're going to have a lot of mentions and backlinks. That is really good for SEO, right? That is fantastic for SEO. But if you don't do the work, you're not going the other work where you say the things that you do, where we have a particular page for every product or service we have, like any single normal company, that nothing will happen, right? So if the company, let's say, I work for a company that's called Mezo, they do Bitcoin loans. The website is optimized for SEO, right? If the website had just the brand name on every single page, Meso, and we do all the PR and all of the events, that will not rank for Bitcoin loans. And a search on ChatGPT, Gemini, or Google of saying which is the best Bitcoin loans company is highly valuable. People are searching for that. You have to show up. And if you did all of the shiny hype PR stuff and you didn't do 3 pages, Bitcoin loans, borrow Bitcoin, lend Bitcoin, you're not going to be surfaced anywhere. Now, the effort put into doing these three pages is much smaller and cheaper and these are things you can do yourself without hiring anyone, right? So why wouldn't you do both? I mean, this is not, I'm not doing a rant against PR agencies. I think that PR is really important, and it's much more important now with LLMs because you need to show that you're trustworthy. You need to show that you are an authority in your niche. Yeah, all of those things PR brings. But if you didn't do the basic work into say, I have a page where I say each thing, each service or product that I sell, well, that is not going to happen. And there's no one in PR, none of the PR agencies in Web3 know about SEO. So
I think none of them care, to be honest with you.
no, well, but now there is an interest in AI search because people are searching. So you're a marketer. You're not going to be where people are searching, and there are some that say that they offer their service. So if I look at their website, I can see that they don't know about SEO because their website is fully built on JavaScript. So LLMs will not retrieve the information from that website. Therefore, if you tell me that you do AI search, I go to your website, your website is built in a way that the AI search will never consider you, I would arrive to the logical conclusion that you don't know this. But I'm not the typical client. Therefore, I think that the more important, I mean, LLM search will only continue growing. Yeah, we will not, at some point, will not type anything. We will tell our agent, I need a Bitcoin loan, find me the best provider. I would verbalize the query. I can do that right now with ChatGPT, right? So if you're selling marketing services and your clients consider that it's important and you don't offer this service, well, you have a problem. I think that we are going to see more and more Web3 marketing agencies offer LLM search. Now, if you haven't cared about SEO for the last 10 years, I would say that it would be a bit hard for you to get up to speed on this discipline.
I mean, a lot of projects are like very new, I guess. So, like, I think starting is better than doing nothing, I would say. And I think you would
Yeah.
agree with me.
Yeah, so I have a couple of webinars on my YouTube channel where I explain there's a webinar, SEO, Web3 for SEO playlist, where if you watch the first webinar is 40 minutes, and you do what I say there, is build a page for every product or service that you provide. You're going to be 100 miles away from anyone else because this is very rare in Web3. Also, it's quite easy to do SEO in Web3 because very few other players are doing it. The only players that are very good at it are centralized exchanges. Binance is very good at it. Coinbase is very good at it. And also news websites, right? Like you mentioned, Cointelegraph. They have proper SEO teams. But the rest, the DEXs, the DeFi projects, NFT, if they exist still, all of the others, no, it's quite easy to beat them.
Fair enough. I know we like when we first chatted, like we spoke about like AI automations, and I want to ask you a few questions about that as well because that might be relevant for anybody listening right now. So I think the first question that I have for you is like when you look at the startups pipeline, I don't know if we
Mhm.
should call them startups in Web3, but let's just do it like for the sake of the conversation, or like for the sake of defining them in a certain way. What are the first tasks you recommend automating with AI?
Yes, I want to clarify that there's two. I mean, we can do two things. We can create AI bots that assist any marketing process or any process, or we can have end-to-end automations, meaning that you do one input and you generate the whole thing. Let me give you an example. For example, let's go to the Bitcoin loans example before, that I mentioned before. Let's say that we want to write a landing page for Bitcoin loans. Cool. I build bots for companies like Mezo, and you have a bot that is the marketer. Yeah, a couple of bots. One is the keyword research bot, and it will bring the keyword data. It will do the SEO work for you, and it will tell you, okay, if you want to rank for best Bitcoin loans, you have to do this, 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 this. It gives you a brief of what you have to do. Then you call the marketer, and the marketer knows everything about the brand. It knows how the brand writes the landing pages, all the information about the brand, everything that they do. It's like if they hired us for a brand, right? We know everything that they do and how do they talk about themselves. Cool. So now I have a content brief, and then I call the marketer, and the marketer will write like the brand. It will not write generically as ChatGPT because ChatGPT could write about Bitcoin loans, but it will write about Bitcoin loans as Meso. Good. And then that takes 3 minutes. You can iterate. You can say, change the CTA. Now we have a new product. Mention this, mention that. You can talk about it like you would with a colleague or a friend, right? And that is fantastic. You can, I mean, generally to do this process, it could take maybe 4 hours to do keyword research and then call a writer to write this landing page. But you can complete this process in 3 minutes. Actually, I have a YouTube video that my latest YouTube video shows that in 5 minutes, we went from landing page, from keyword research to landing page to blog post, because I can tell the marketer bot, oh, I want this landing page to be repurposed as a blog post. So write it in an informational manner and write it like one of my writers, right? It has two styles embedded. So I can say, write it in a really punchy way or in a really academic way. Great. And now that I have the blog post, I want an X thread with five posts. And now I want a LinkedIn post. That takes 5 minutes. Tell me tell me which marketing team can beat that. Something that talks about your brand, that does the research, and that you have it ready in 5 minutes. Yes, then it has to be checked by people. Fantastic. But 5 minutes. We provided five pieces of content in 5 minutes. I mean,
One of the questions here is like, and that's what I get asked quite a lot as well. Like, don't a lot of these pieces of content sound like AI?
if you train the bot to sound like you. So my bots, why do my bots sound like brands? because I train them on the brand guidelines. I train them on existing content from the brand, and I train them on the writer. So blogs are generally written by Web3, by a content writer. And blogs are written in a very different manner than landing pages. Generally, in blog posts, we have more identity, more style. Landing pages, they all sort of sound the same. So if I take the style of your writer and I put it in my bot and I train my bot like your writer, I can imitate their style up to 80 to 90%. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, maybe we can do that like very quickly.
Yeah, of course, I can show you. Let me share my screen. So, screen. Boom. So I'm gonna do the example. I was going to show you this before, but now I don't think we have time. This one helps you to rank on LLMs. But let me show you this. So this is my Meso marketer. This knows everything about the brand. Yeah. So let's say, write a landing page about Bitcoin loans. What you're going to see here is that a bit of thinking, it goes to the knowledge base. It's not normal ChatGPT. This has been trained. Yeah. And how do we know it has been trained? Because it mentions the stablecoin that Meso built, which is MSUD. It tells you the exact APR rates, right, of these loans. And if you check at the end, we also have a CTA, sorry, that goes into Meso itself. So this is not normal ChatGPT. This is how the brand wants to write its own landing pages. Now, if I wanted to write this in a more academic manner, I'm going to copy this. Yeah, and I'm going to call, I'm going to call one of my bots. Give me a second. Here we have Bash. So this writer is very academic. He loves economic theory and to write like really serious stuff, right? So this is one of the writers on Meso. So we're going to say rewrite as a informational blog post by Bash. So I'm going to paste this, and we're going to see how this starts transforming. So that landing page now turns into something totally different. Look at the language chosen. The future of sovereign liquidity. This is not normal ChatGPT. So every single part, this prompt has more than 8 pages. Yeah, we have trained this bot extensively to sound like this writer. The way it writes the hooks, the way that it brings economic theory, the use of each component. So if you train your bots to sound like you, or to sound like anyone, because I could train a bot to sound like Shakespeare writing sonnets, or Dua Lipa writing songs. If you train it on previous material and you give precise instructions, it will not sound like ChatGPT or AI. So it's up to, it's a tool. It depends on how you use it.
I mean, oh my god, this conversation can just go on and on. But I think I'm gonna I would like to kind of go through like a few more stuff as well.
Yeah, of course.
What do you think are like some of the specific marketing processes that scale exceptionally well and which don't?
Yeah. So with AI, again, as I said before, this is an AI assisted workflow. I can iterate with it, and I said, change the introduction. I want a new CTA, whatever. But I also have an automation for this that you put the keyword, and it will do the SEO research. Then it will go to Perplexity. It will do the actual research on the topic. Then it will go to another bot that will act like a content strategist, and it will compile all of this information, create the content outline, bring in all of the internal links for products, all of the external links for research, and then it will create this master brief that is taken to the writer, and the writer writes from this brief, and then it sends you a link to a spreadsheet, and everything is in a Google Doc, right? So we can do AI assisted like this, do that, or we can just automate the full thing. I think that content writing, whether it's landing pages or blog posts, scales incredibly well. Actually, I have a case study for Espacio Crypto, which is the most popular podcast, crypto podcast in Latin America, and they have increased their traffic 10x in 6 months using automations like this, like the one that I mentioned before, end-to-end automation on make.com, that they put a keyword on the spreadsheet and it just produces the content in a very similar manner as the writer. So 10x in 6 months for an informational product, I think that is pretty good. Social can also scale pretty well with this. As the kind of package that I sell for bots is generally one marketer, one for SEO, one for LinkedIn, one for X, and one optional. One optional is whatever they want. Maybe they want an X bot that writes like the founder instead of the brand, right? So you can have different bots that write differently. So generally you would have one brand and one founder, one CTO, one person of influence, one.
I thought you're gonna continue, and I took a bit of a break. And which ones don't?
Which in marketing?
Yeah, which automations like don't scale really well?
So there are two things, as I said. One, AI assisted workflows scale very well because whatever you don't like, you tell it. It's like, I didn't write the seat. I don't like this point. I don't like this angle. Change this, change that. That scales well because if you don't like something, you can tell it, you can iterate in the moment. Now, in order to do automations that are 80 or 90% accurate, or that they do 80 or 90% of the task you wanted, that takes so many hours and it's so much refinement. That is much harder to do. What doesn't scale well is when you are doing this process and the team doesn't give you feedback. If the team doesn't give you feedback, there's a very huge chance that this will not fulfill the quality. It will not be able to do the task, or the task will not be up to the quality that you would expect from a human writer or human marketer. So that is the biggest constraint. You cannot scale if people are not giving you feedback.
What skills do you think a marketing needs to build or manage AI automations effectively?
I think that the core skill is to prompt, is to be able to give instructions. That is the main one. If you are able to give instructions, you are coding, because LLM, to build on LLMs is to code with words. So it's the same thing as in real life. If I tell you, Alex, can you buy me something for lunch? Let's say we're in London. Alex, can you buy me something for lunch? You might come to me with a Tesco egg and mayonnaise sandwich. That is a food that I have been trying to avoid since the moment I arrived to the UK. But I gave you really vague instructions. You saw at Tesco, there is a meal deal where for £3 you get a sandwich, a terrible sandwich, a bag of crisp, and a Coca-Cola. You thought this would be great. Now, if I tell you, Alex, I need, can you give me some lunch? I only have 30 minutes to eat. I am gluten intolerant because obviously I live in London. And I like Persian and Japanese food. There is a market around the corner. You're not going to bring that egg sandwich. You're going to bring, I don't know, a shawarma. Or shawarma has gluten, sorry. Let's say you bring sushi. Great. And my budget is £10. Let's say you bring sushi. Great. So in these two examples, one, you have instructions that allow you to be better at the task, that allow you to fulfill this task with higher degree of quality to satisfy my need. Now, I see that a lot of marketers, everybody uses ChatGPT. That's the only thing they use, 100%. Now, they said, write a blog post. Write a blog post. And they haven't trained their own bot. If I tell normal ChatGPT, write a blog post about Bitcoin loans, do you think that the quality will be similar to what you have seen there? No, it will be a generic post. We now going to ChatGPT and say, write a blog post about Bitcoin loans, both of us will get a very similar result. And then we will blame AI because AI just sounds generic. And, oh yeah, and your instructions were not generic. Like generic inputs generate generic outputs.
But how do you learn to be better at like prompting? Because I think that's a very big issue for a lot of marketers.
Well, you have to go and read. Unfortunately, you have to read, you have to watch YouTube videos. Actually, this year, in 2025, I have trained more than 2,000 people on AI marketing. And I have a couple of webinars on my YouTube channel where you can go from zero to creating your bots in an hour. Yeah. And one of the things that I discuss is prompting. And now there is a framework called the CLEAR framework, where you have to provide context, examples. Alex, I'm gonna go back to my presentation about the CLEAR framework, so I tell you exactly what the CLEAR framework is, because each phrase is about. Give me 1 second.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm gonna do CLEAR framework.
I'm actually very happy we're doing this because I think a lot of times people just they can't really show examples, or at least like not like during this conversation, which I think is pretty amazing.
Thank you. One of the best way of prompting is to use the CLEAR framework, and CLEAR stands for context, length, examples, audience, and role. So it's not the same that I said write a blog about Bitcoin loans. Dan, you are a content writer for Mezo. You write in an academic style. Create a blog post of 1,000 words for our target audience, which is BitcoinFi native Gen Z people that have been excluded from traditional financial systems. This campaign is in the context of the launch of our Bitcoin loan product. Your tone of voice is academic researcher, passionate academic researcher, and include examples about the use cases that people can do with Mezo. Here are the examples: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is much more well-defined and clear than write a blog post about Bitcoin loans. Now, I know that sometimes we don't have enough time to learn how to do things. So what I did, from all of the collections of bots that I have, I created a prompt maker express. Yeah, and I'm gonna put the QR code on screen. So again, people can just go here, use it for free, and you can tell it like really raw ideas, and it will help you to write your prompt. So the quality of your instructions is proportional. The quality of your instructions will define the quality of your output. So in our case is prompt for Bitcoin loan blog post. Yeah, so you can throw 5 words, 4 words, and it will help you with your prompt. So look at the difference between this and this. Now, evidently, you can refine this, but now we have much clearer examples. And as I said before, the prompt for Vaj, the Meso writer, has 8 pages of instructions. is not just a silly thing. Flashlight, look. There are a million, I have worked on this, the different iterations. But this paradox opening techniques and hook patterns, sentence and structure and rhythm, technical communication style, distinctive language patterns, SEO instructions, examples, risk and communication style, and at the end, an execution checklist. I don't know a lot of marketers that do this, but if you do the work, you're going to have much better results than write a blog post about Bitcoin loans. This is a newer discipline, and you have to study, and you have to put a bit of effort, like everything.
Do you think this is like the new skills that anybody in doing Web3 marketing should have?
In any discipline, not just Web3 marketing. In any discipline, prompting will set you apart. If I go to a job interview today and I show this, let's say we interview for the same job and I show this, all of the examples that I have shown you today, I think I would have more chances than the other people. Well, maybe the other people showed similar things. I don't think they will, but I think that right now I would be one of the top candidates because I can tell you can scale a team. We can have a lean team with 2 people, 3 people, and we can conquer every single channel. I think that's a pretty appealing proposition for companies.
I'm going to ask you something which I think a lot of people might want to ask as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that like as a solo marketer, you could use like all these AI agents to help you with your marketing, or do you think you still need a couple of people in the team and then an extra help from all these AI agents?
No, I think 100% you can run it solo. Actually, there are some founders out there that have said, AI founders that have said that we will see very soon billion-dollar companies by solo people. Solo billion-dollar companies. You can definitely run the whole operation on your own. And in your case, Alex, for example, you do this podcast, and then you will probably have to repurpose it into, I don't know, a LinkedIn article, a Medium article, an X thread, any of those components. So, and that takes a lot of time. So, in order to do that, because I also do YouTube videos, I created an automation that takes the video, takes the transcript, and does all of that on its own. So from the transcript, it creates a blog post, then a Medium post, then a LinkedIn post, X, messages for my communities as well, so I can promote my video, and everything gets done automatically in the background. Why wouldn't you want that? Like, I'll show you this. I mean, imagine the time that you as a solo marketer, you would save. You see, this comes from YouTube, updates the spreadsheet, takes the transcript, then it creates the blog post, title, meta description, and then publish it on my WordPress with the thumbnail, creates a newsletter, create the community messages, Twitter article, Medium rewrite, LinkedIn article, LinkedIn post. Everything that I post, every video that I post gets repurposed that way, automatically in the background, like this. This is a former, the last podcast I did before this. All of this written automatically. Why would you call a human to do this? If you have the option, right? I don't know, you tell me. Wouldn't you want to have this? I can send it to you, by the way. Here is the latest one. It's also on Medium and all of these places.
Personally, I've avoided doing stuff like this because I feel like it just takes like way too much time, and I just wanted to create content. But like the more content I did, the more I realized that if I want to continue doing content, the more I need to scale. So it's always like the chicken and the egg situation, right?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I love being on podcasts. You know what I don't want to do? Take 2 hours to repurpose all of this.
Exactly.
Now, this does this in 5 minutes. So this sorts out the problem. because I want to be here talking for 3 hours about the Web3, AI, and stuff like that. I don't enjoy repurposing. So the things that I don't enjoy doing and that I still have to do, or the things that I do every day and I need speed, I build bots to assist me or end-to-end automations that do the work for me. So can I run this operation solo? Yeah, 100%. But I have to build the tools. The thing is that with AI, people think that the solution will come to us. This takes time. This took a lot of time to refine.
I mean, I can
So
imagine because marketing is never like a one-way street, right? Like you always need to keep changing to figure out like what
yeah,
actually works and what doesn't.
yeah. And if the positioning changes, well, I need to change the way that I write. So then you start thinking, okay, but if the positioning changing, wouldn't I add a module before that can change all of the other modules automatically? And now you start thinking as a developer, what are the things that I don't need, that I can automate, or that I can insert a variable that changes the other things? So your brain starts thinking in a more evolved way, in a more lean way. Like, okay, I don't want to spend 3 hours rewriting all of these prompts. How do I build a bot, a machine, or something else that does it for me? I don't think that marketers we are used to think that way. But
Yes,
to
I don't
build these
think we are.
things, yeah, but to build this has opened my mind and has opened the way I thought about things.
But you
And I
know
don't
what I
think
think
that,
it is? And, like, I mean, obviously you work with clients and I think like that pushes you to do this, but I think like we as solo builders, like or other content creators and stuff, you experiment a lot more, like you try different things a lot more than normal marketers do. And I think
yeah,
that's where the disparity is. If I mean, a very
exactly.
humble opinion.
Now, I have this conversation with my partner, who is also we both have our companies. We are not employed by, we provide client services. We're not employed. And I think that when you are out there hustling, you're going to try everything. Because if you're on a 9 to 5 job, maybe you don't need a newsletter. Maybe you don't need to capture clients. And in order to capture clients, I'm going to launch this website, this YouTube channel, or whatever. The moment you have a YouTube channel, you have to start automating things, because it takes a long time to create a video, and then to repurpose, oh my God, much more time. So you have to get creative, because again, as a solo creator, when resources are constrained, well, you have to leverage these things. Also, make.com is free up to 1,000 operations per month. I used make.com for free for 2 years. It has never been easier, cheaper, or faster to build any of these tools. You can build custom GPTs just by paying the $20 license on ChatGPT. We are building bots without coding for $20. I built my friend's wedding website, that has a voice agent. Yeah, meaning that you can call my
Oh, you
friend.
showed me that.
You can call my friend, and she and the future husband will reply to your queries about the wedding in English or Spanish. If you don't want to read this, this is just a wedding website, which again, I built in half an hour, right? Half an hour with Lovable AI. Lovable, again, $20 a month, right? And then I did some cheeky things, right? Then I put them on some covers for magazine. This is Kenya and Kylie wedding. No, Kim Kardashian and Kanye. This is inspired. This was Idris Elba wedding. And this is like a bit of Lady D vibes. So look, what I was saying, Alex, is like Lovable is $20. 11 Labs, which is the app that I use to create this voice agent to clone my friend's voice. So when you call, you're gonna hear my friend's voice and his and her future husband's voice. That is $5. Yeah. So I spent a couple of hours trying to figure out how the voice agent works. But for $25, all in all, I created this. The main thing that you need, first, curiosity. Yeah, because if you're not curious, I mean, if you see this example and then it's fine, you don't have the urging desire to build a voice agent for your use cases, or you don't have the urge to put your friend in the cover of a magazine looking like Lady D, that's fine. If I see this, I'll go in the next 5 minutes, I go and I try to build something similar. So first you need curiosity, and then you need time to explore. Most of my experiments, then at some point they become clients, commercial outcomes. So exploration is a huge part of this process. These fun experiments, then, I mean, I'm going to post this on LinkedIn, and people will see this and they'll say, oh, she really knows about AI. This is a fun experiment, but I could incorporate this in my company because this agent also takes your name, can take your email. This could be a lead generation agent, or this could be business development. It could be the first line of customer service. You can use this for any other thing besides the wedding. I mean, but it's a funny example. It's an example that captures people's attention, right? Generally, you don't see a wedding website where you can talk live to the future bride and groom. But you need curiosity, time to explore, and the third thing, show what you're doing. Every time I have showed the repurposer, people have asked me, okay, how much is that? Every time I have showed the blog automation, people have asked me, oh, yeah, how much? When can we start for my company? Because it looks like you're going to save time and money.
I have a question for you. What about like KPIs and metrics? Like, what are some KPIs and metrics to use to show these experiments or like these AI agents or these automations actually work? Like, what's
In
your
terms,
North Star, let's say?
yeah. So what I use, I keep a spreadsheet of for my own records of time saved. For example, to do a manual repurposing per week, I do a video per week. Per week, I would have to spend 2 hours repurposing. Right now, I build an automation. Let's say that this automation took me 20 hours. What is the ratio of that? Right, of 2 hours per year, 52 weeks. We have 144 versus 20. That is a 5x gain. I measure how much time you would save per year or per month, week, using these systems. And I also ask the clients, okay, how long does it take you to do the keyword research, the landing page, and the blog post? 4 hours, cool. And now we do it in 5 minutes? That is a 24x gain. Those are the kind of gains that I'm searching for in terms of time. Time is an ROI by itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is it's a cost always, and I think a lot of people don't value it properly, but some do. So I think like the ones that do actually understand the value of such services. Something else I wanted to ask you is like, because you mentioned that we don't know if we're actually in a bear market or a bull market, not bull
Yeah.
market, but like if we're actually in a bear market right now. How does SEO strategy work between like bear and bull, and do you think people should actually be interested in doing SEO and being relevant on all these channels at all times?
So most of the Web3 brands that I work with, they generally don't have content around their product and services, which is the core content. Those are your money pages, because people will need to know what you do for service in order to buy from you. You should do that core marketing is beyond SEO. That is product marketing. That is marketing in general, to tell people what you do. SEO is to optimize that page for ranking, but you should say, Alex, if you're a marketer and you offer 3 services, content creation, calls management, and let's say podcasts, you do podcasts for brands, you should mention that. And you should have a page for each of those. Whether it's the bear market or the bull market, if you don't have those 3 pages, I would say, hey, you have to have these 3 pages. That is core. And I generally work with brands where we have to do the core foundations, the core pages.
So you wouldn't
Yeah,
basically, you think that anybody should do stuff like this? Doesn't matter if they're like a freelancer, a service provider, a content creator, a project, or like an
yep,
ecosystem or anything in Web3.
yes, 100%. Also, how long would it take now with all of these technologies to actually do those 3 pages? Even if it's badly written, even if it sounds like ChatGPT, even if you don't train any of your robots, you need to say what you sell. And to have that page is badly written, something like ChatGPT, that could make you rank. Not having the page will not make you rank. So have bad content, I would say. Between no content and bad content, have bad content. Have bad content that sounds like ChatGPT. That would be my preference. Evidently, that is not what I sell to people. But if you want to put bad content, instead of not putting anything about yourself, well, put bad content.
Makes sense. I know you also like preparing SEO guide for 2026. What is it? What's inside? And what do you think people should expect from it?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm right now working on a resource for Web3 companies for 2026. And it will explain the basics of SEO because you still need the basics in order to rank on, to show up on LLM. So we'll cover both how to rank on Google, which I have given many, many webinars since 2018 about this, and still people don't have product pages. And the newer, the shinier things for people that want to rank on LLMs, which is how to adapt these foundations and tactics to the new AI search.
Well, when is it coming out?
This will come in January.
Where? Come on,
I
Victoria,
cannot,
give us like all the tea.
you are going to be the first one to know. You're going to be the first person I share the link with. And then it's going to be on my website, on my LinkedIn, on my X, on every single platform I have showed you. I repurpose my content. And also, if you search for Web3 SEO guide for 2026, it will also be there. If you want to find it, you're going to find it.
Fair enough. Fair
Almost
enough.
effortlessly.
So may you, if you're listening right now, just make sure you're following me and you're following Victoria as well. I'm definitely gonna ask her at the end of it, like share her socials, and also I'm gonna put it in the description of the episode as well. One of the last questions, because like we're kind of getting to the end of this conversation, is that if you're a marketer listening right now that wants to prepare for 2026, what's one thing you think they should start doing right now?
Learn prompting. A, watch my webinar or use my robot if you don't even want to learn how to do it. But at least you want to a little bit. You have to want it.
It's part of the learning
Um,
process, right?
yes, you have to have a bit of curiosity and a bit of time to explore this new technology. So learn prompting and start training your own bots, because I'm sure that every single person that is listening right now will be exceptional at something. Let's say that you're exceptional at X, you're an exceptional call, you're an exceptional podcast. That thing that you do, you have a process, you have the formula, the secret recipe, the secret ingredient. Train a bot that does that, and that bot you can sell to people. So now you are thinking as a developer, and you are monetizing your knowledge without monetizing your time. Because if you sell the robot, you don't have to spend the hours doing the work. So what I offer to companies right now is like, do you want done for you services where I do everything for you? Great. That's the traditional agency model. Cool. Or do you want a cheaper model where you have my training and my bots and you create this yourself? And now I sell that, which takes less time. And it's a new monetization avenue, which we all need, especially solo creators. Don't we need money? Don't
Hey,
you want to
please,
monetize without time? Yeah, so
2026 is gonna be the year.
2026 is the year where bots and agents take over. Wouldn't you want your brand to be referenced by bots and agents? If you want that, whether you like SEO or not, you'll have to learn SEO. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's fair enough. One of the last questions I have for you, because I asked this to everybody, you told us like what is the one thing you should be doing right now. But do you have any tools, books, newsletters, or anything you think would be relevant for this conversation, for anybody listening right now?
Yeah, of course. You can follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, where I talk about AI for AI marketing and AI SEO and AI SEO for Web3. So I'm going to just brag about myself. I have a newsletter as well. And I share tools, free tools most of the time. But if there's one thing that you should have to learn, again, as I said, is prompting. For me, that is the core skill.
Okay. And the last thing I want to know from you is like, what's your unpopular opinion in Web3 about Web3, in Web3 marketing, about Web3 marketing?
I think that as time goes by, this industry will have to mature and start measuring outcomes, tangible outcomes that are tied to revenue, users, or whatever KPI that moves the needle for companies. That hasn't happened yet. It's mostly about, it's like a popularity contest
How
in
long would you
high
give it
school.
though until that happens?
I think that bear markets generally test that, because when there is less money, people are a bit more picky, and they have more constraints, and they want to see better KPIs for their projects. So bear markets are always useful to for brands to refine what they actually want from marketing. Marketing for me should be a revenue generating discipline. You should get money from campaigns. I do all of these videos and all of these podcast appearances, and I get clients. If I didn't get clients, I would stop doing it. Yeah, I have been working on my LLM strategy for a couple of months right now, and I got 2 leads from ChatGPT. Right? I got 1 lead the other day from X, because I have been spending more time on X, because what are you doing if you're not X? You're a marketer, right? Web3 marketer, you have to be on X. Now, I measure the success of all of those platforms. And if there's a platform that stops delivering, well, I will have to either change the strategy or stop doing it. And brands think the same way. What would you do if something is not delivering any money? An activity that requires money that should get you leads or users and is not doing that. Is it a cost center or is it a revenue center? I'd rather this be a revenue center.
Well, Victoria, as you just mentioned that, hoping this is going to be a revenue center for you, because I think you gave us a lot of examples. So tell us, where can people find you?
Yes. If you search for my name, Victoria Olsina, Olsina, you're going to find me on every single place online. You can ask ChatGPT as well, who is Victoria Olsina. But I'm on YouTube, I'm on X, my website is victoriaolsina.com, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm everywhere. I live on the internet. If you sit in front of your laptop and you mention my name 3 times, I'm going to show up like Candyman.
Well, hope everybody and anybody is going to give you a follow and search you on all these platforms. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun, and can't wait to release this episode. And I can't wait to see you again in person as well. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. DevCon, I met Alex in DevCon, and it was so much fun. Yeah, it would be fantastic to meet you again in person and have some drinks and talk about the industry. Thank you so much for interviewing me. It has been a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much for listening to our Out of Ordinary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to hear more content like this, then open up the podcast app and click on the follow or subscribe button. It takes less than 5 seconds and is the single best thing you can do to support the show and stay up to date to more marketing strategies that are being used in the Web3 space.